Not only going to be commander-in-chief, I'm going to be organizer-in-chief.
The New York Times put together a map of data from all of the 2020 Democratic candidates and where their support is coming from. So this map looks at the candidates that have the most individual donors. Now, when you see this, especially if you don't know what the data is, this is going to blow your mind. Check it out. Bernie Sanders, by far, from coast to coast, has the most individual donors and the most concentration of individual donors across the United States. In second place, you have Elizabeth Warren. So first of all, Bernie's number is, so this is data as of June 30th, so it's slightly out of date. Bernie's in first with 746,000 individual donors. Warren's in second with 421,000 individual donors. Pete Buttigieg has 390,000 individual donors. Kamala Harris, 277,000. Biden, 256,000. And Beto O'Rourke, 188,000. Now, looking at that map, it's clear there is one candidate in this race, especially, that represents the entirety of America. That represents your average person. And it's not even close. So it'd be one thing if Bernie's leading here and he leads by, say, 50,000 donors. But no, he almost doubles Warren's numbers, and Warren's in second place. It's insane. So when you're thinking about something like electability, think about who's able to reach the most amount of people across America, who has a message that resonates with the average voter. I mean, that's what individual donors are. They're the average voter. These are just average people. His donations average $18 a piece. We're talking about just regular Americans here. So thinking to a general election when going up against Donald Trump, you need a mass movement of people that will be energized to not only vote themselves, but also get other people around them out to vote as well. And that's exactly what Bernie's movement is able to do. And let's take a look at the next map here. So this is kind of funny. Because Bernie leads so thoroughly in the overall map of all the candidates, the New York Times had to create a second map where they don't include Bernie Sanders just to see how this race looks without Bernie in the massive lead that he has. So looking at the map without Bernie on it, you see Elizabeth Warren has a similar kind of reach as Bernie does, obviously not as solid, but yeah, so Warren there, I mean, we're talking about somebody who is a solid potential here for a VP pick. Again, imagining Bernie wins the nomination and you want somebody to be by your side who also has a reach across the country, who's able to spread your message the way that you've been doing. Elizabeth Warren, I think, is the obvious VP choice here. Now, as I said, these numbers are slightly out of date, but it really only benefits Bernie because Bernie's been raising a ton of money. So this tweet went out after the most recent debate on CNN. This from HuffPost reporter Danielle Morans. Bernie raised $1.1 million from 70,000 contributions since yesterday, per his campaign. Of the 70,000 contributions since yesterday, the top employees were Starbucks, USPS, Amazon, and Walmart, with Los Angeles Unified School District teachers rounding out the top 10. So this again shows you how Bernie represents the average American. These are people that are teachers, Walmart workers, Starbucks workers, postal workers, Amazon workers. The average person supports Bernie Sanders because Bernie actually speaks for them. As I've said before, he doesn't even have private fundraisers. No corporate PACs, no PAC money. He only relies on individual donors. This is how people know they can actually trust him on his message. Not to mention the fact that he's been saying the same thing for 40 plus years. So this is somebody who is genuine and truly believes in a people-focused approach to politics. Now, on the other side of that, let's say the amazing happens. Let's say Bernie actually wins. Bernie wins the nomination, beats Donald Trump, and he has this mass movement of people behind him. What will he do with this movement? Will he be like Barack Obama and just completely forget about them? Or does he actually have a plan? Well, he discussed this on MSNBC's Morning Joe.
I think the ideas that I am talking about, whether it is taking on the greed and the corruption and the illegal activity of the pharmaceutical industry, whether it is guaranteeing health care to all people through a Medicare for all single-payer system, I think that those ideas are popular. And I think once we rally the American people, which is what I intend to do as president, I'm going to run the presidency differently than anyone else. I'm not only going to be commander-in-chief, I'm going to be organizer-in-chief. We're going to go out to Kentucky, a very, very poor state where people are earning low wages, can't afford health care, can't afford insurance or pharmaceuticals. And we're going to rally the people there to tell their senators to stand with ordinary Americans and not with wealthy campaign contributors.
And this is another point that sets Bernie Sanders apart from anybody else in the race. He would be the organizer-in-chief. He would actually be willing to rally people in various states that maybe don't support his agenda, to rally the people there to get their senators, their congresspeople to support his agenda. Now, can it work? It's impossible to know until he's actually doing it. But the thing is here, no other president has been willing to try this. This is, as Bernie's campaign manager, Fad Shakir, tweets out here, Bernie's reconceptualizing the powers of the presidency. It would be a presidency without a lot of historical precedent, but it's the kind of presidency we need at this moment in history. And he's exactly right. Bernie willing to do that, not even to mention, look, Bernie was in an interview with the Young Turks, and he told Cenk Uygur there that he'd be willing to even go to West Virginia and rally Joe Manchin's voters, Joe Manchin, who's a Democrat, but a very conservative Democrat, rally Joe Manchin's voters in West Virginia to, say, support a bill like Medicare for all. So this is the power that the presidency holds. Bernie understands the power that he would have as president to be able to do something like that and actually try and institute a platform that is designed to lift people up, whether it's through healthcare, whether it's through wages, whether it's through climate change initiatives, whether it's through infrastructure spending. I mean, whatever it is, Bernie would have the power to try and rally the people in various states to rally their politicians to support his agenda and actually get this done. And no other candidate is willing to do this. And I think, look, the reason why Bernie is able to do this in a way that other candidates aren't is that Bernie is a lifelong independent. I mean, this is a bonus for him. A lot of, people on television will often say, oh, Bernie's not even a Democrat, as if that's a bad thing. It's a huge plus that Bernie's not a Democrat. What that means is he's able to appeal to people across party lines. When he focuses on his message of lifting people up, of helping your average person, that connects with people. So if you have a Bernie presidency, you will have somebody who is willing to be a representative of the people as opposed to a representative of the special interests and the wealthy.